Hello, and welcome back to Method News, where we talk about science-based manifestation methods and concepts. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this topic. Let's get started. So today we're talking about values, vision, and vulnerability for setting intentions, and how vulnerability helps you set intentions that will give you satisfying manifestations, how it helps you recognize your values and develop your vision. So your vulnerability reflects your values, what you try to protect within yourself, what makes you feel um, open to possibly being damaged. This is not just physically. Remember, we are biological survival systems, but vulnerability is both internal and external. Being vulnerable is necessary for creating emotional resonance, being open to your authenticity, practicing self acceptance. You have to be open to those soft places in yourself to be able to deeply accept and connect with who you are. And it also enhances new neural pathways in your brain. It creates more identity flexibility and gives you more of a growth mindset. Because when you're being vulnerable, when you're being open, especially with yourself, and it can be surprisingly much harder to be vulnerable with ourselves than with other people because we tend to externalize that validating force, right? But when you cultivate that validation system within yourself, you will find your own system naturally becoming more open, more permissive, more accepting of the current reality, and more open to gratitude about it. And then there is the difference between liking, wanting, and needing. Vulnerability can make us feel very scarcity based. It can make us feel like we need protection, we need security, we need uh, resources or something, And when you get into the wanting, that sort of creates this I don't have it sort of idea too. I want this because I don't perceive that I already have the experience that I believe this thing will create for me. Because that's really what you're seeking, the experience, the sensation, the dopamine that says you were successful, right? So wanting, it creates a loop of raising the bar because the wanting itself becomes an identity. It becomes a predictive protocol. I want $500. I receive $500. Now, receiving doesn't give you as good of a boost as losing drops your dopamine levels. So you don't get as much of a reward mentally for getting something as much as you take a hit for losing something. So it's important to train your perspective to always see things in trade, in transit. Nothing is ever really yours, but nothing ever isn't really yours. It's always moving, it's always changing situations, changing hands, and everything is accessible and available to you in some way, right? So it also creates the desire to try to act, to try to force something to happen because you want, right? That desire is so deep. I need this $500. I want $5,000. I want, you know, whatever it is. Maybe it's an abundance of hair, It could be anything. It doesn't matter what the thing itself is. The thing is just an idea of an experience that you want to have. So when you switch over to liking instead of wanting or needing, it reduces that attachment and lowers the resistance. It also lowers the risk in your mind of thinking I could lose something. Because once you receive the $500, well, what if I lose it? I want to feel secure in not losing it, right? But how about just liking that I can have $500? How about just liking that I can have $5,000, that I can have 5 million, 5 billion, whatever, because it exists and it is available. Then, and through some means of situation, it could come to me. So I can just like that that's available. How about just liking that other people exist? So you might meet lots of compatible people, right? There are plenty of people lots and lots of people compared to, maybe the last ice age. There's no shortage of people right now. So there are many, many opportunities of connecting with people who are aligned with you and coherent with your system. Many opportunities of growth through others, of, having the social situations that you really want to exist in has never been more abundant than now. I mean, it is incredibly abundant and varied, and being connected technologically like we are now through the internet, where anybody can share anything, and we naturally sort of create these nests, internet digital nests. This is a really good thing to be focusing on because there is an abundance of everything. Everything is available. Anything you would want could just appear. And when you do that, you train your filters, your mental filters, to see more experiences, to be more accepting of allowing those experiences to come into your awareness. Because your reticular activating system in your brain is deciding what you can see, what you can experience, what you will notice based on the unconscious programs, those stories that you tell yourself about who you are, about, what life is, about what other people are, about what is available to you. And needing, especially, is survival. Like, if you feel like you need something, we don't really need a lot the way that our ego makes us feel like we need a lot. We need water, and we need food, and we need connection with others, and we need, a safe place to live and in a shelter. We don't need a sports car. That is not a need. There is nothing needing about it. We can like sports cars. We can love sports cars, but there's no need there. And we can want it. But then once you get the sports car, then you got to have 5 sports cars. Then you got to raise the bar and you got to have 10 sports cars. And is that really enough? Is it really? Next thing you know, you're hoarding sports cars. I'm not going to tell you what to hoard or not. I'm not going to tell you how many sports cars you should have. But just keep in mind that when that happens, you're constantly triggering your nervous system into thinking that something terrible is happening, right? So, framing these internal stories like it's nice having designer handbags. It's nice having, expensive wristwatches. But it triggers these systems of feeling safe, curious, creative, and enjoying the engagement of the experience. So I hope this has helped you to understand a little bit more about vulnerability and opening up to yourself and opening up to possibilities, to potential, to, knowing that it's okay that you don't have it right this minute. And maybe if it never even comes into your story is still going to be amazing. You can be open. You can be accepting. You can be free to receive safely. And this is what your nervous system wants for you to be able to manifest. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and sign up for the Method Muse newsletter in the description below.